Welcome to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. You can send questions for each show on Twitter using the hashtag IndieBeacon. Now sit back and enjoy learning about our guest for this show.
This is Charlotte Canion, author of You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, How to Parent Your Parents. And we're speaking with Dawnie Dahir today. And she's the author of Let Me Give You a Whisper and Whisper of Change. Dawnie, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing fabulous. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, we'd like to know a little bit about you. Can you give us a little bit of your background?
Well, my daddy was in the military, and we moved every 3 years until we got to Fort Hood when I was halfway through 3rd grade. From there, we moved to Killeen, which is the sister city of Fort Hood. And it wasn't very far, but it meant starting a new school with new kids. We were there 3 years, and then my daddy got stationed in Hawaii. We were there 1 year. That was awesome. And then he got sent back overseas, came back to Killeen, and that's where I graduated high school. Then I went to UT and graduated with a degree in business. And from there, moved to Dallas and have never left the Dallas area.
And are you married? Do you have children?
I'm married, been married 38 years, have 3 grown daughters, 3 sons-in-law, and 6 grandchildren.
Oh, and I bet they keep you busy.
They do, because they're all in the area now. It's fabulous.
That's super. Now, is grandchildren what enticed you to write your children's book?
Well, sort of. I had in my head that one day I was going to write a book. I had not thought of a children's book, but I knew I was going to write a book at the right time. And one day I was in this really deep meditation, and what came out of it was write a children's book. I thought, I don't know the first thing about writing a children's book. So after 4 days of questioning myself, I said, okay, now what do you know? Well, I know how to rhyme, and I rhyme pretty easy. So I started there. Then I thought, well, what do children want to know about? And so then I started writing about different topics I thought children would be interested in, like your imagination and being happy and having fun. So my book is actually 8 different topics, but written in rhyme and written so that children can understand it. And of course, there's always a message underneath. Even fairy tales have messages, but it's about how to live your life with happiness and joy and love in your heart. And so that once I started writing, it just flowed. It just all flowed and came together.
Can you show us the cover of your book?
Yes. This actually, you know how people come up to you and they'll say, I want to whisper in your ear. Well, my oldest grandson, when he was 3 or 4, he would come up and say, let me give you a whisper. Let me give you a whisper. I don't know where he came up with that, but that's where I got the title of the book. It's actually him on the front. This is Austin, and his favorite animal is a monkey. His brother, Hunter, his favorite animal is a hippo. His brother, Weston's favorite animal is an elephant. And since that time, my daughter's had 2 more children. So I need to write another children's book.
Sounds like you do. Well, would you mind reading us one of your you said your rhymes there?
Yes, I'd love to. This is my favorite one. It's called Imagine. Imagine you're an astronaut flying to the moon, looking out the window, holding a bright pink balloon. Imagine you're a race car driver speeding around the track, passing all the other cars without ever looking back. Imagine you're a mountain climber, almost to the top, climbing a high mountain with your favorite bunny hop. With your imagination, you can do many things. You can fly into space and ride on Saturn's rings. So
Oh, that's cute.
yeah.
That is cute. Now, when did you write this book?
In 2016.
And how long did it take you? A lot of our listeners want to know how long it takes you to write and put together a book.
Actually, once I stopped doubting myself and started having confidence in myself that I could do that, I set a 3-month time period to have it done so I could turn it into the publishers. And I was 3 months in 1 week.
In 1 week.
And 1 week. So that's once I started knowing what I was going to do, I had a plan, I knew I could rhyme and the topics, then the rest of it came pretty easy.
So how long did it take after that where you got your book in your hand?
Well, it was until, that was in June or July of 2016, and it wasn't until the weekend before Thanksgiving that it actually came out.
Okay. So you're talking about 4 or 5 months, something like that?
Yeah. From the time that I decided to do it, which was March, it came out in November.
Yeah. So if you said you have more grandchildren and you might write, have you thought about what their characters will be or what you might write another book about, your children's books?
Well, I have, because my daughter has 4 sons and the last baby was a girl. So it'll have to do with something about having big brothers, but I also have another granddaughter by my daughter, Brandy. So I have 2 granddaughters and 4 grandsons, and I'd like to include all of them in it.
That would be good. Or you might just have a series.
It might be a series, or it might just be just something that they're all in, an adventure, kind of like the Wizard of Oz, an adventure.
So you kind of made your format already, or your layout, outline, how you want to do it?
No, not yet. But, I've got ideas about what I want to do. And I'd like to have something, too, that's silly. Just downright silly.
Downright. Mm-hmm.
Because those are my favorite stories when I'm reading to the grandkids, are just the silly ones.
Yeah. Well, are you right? I mean, you need to be taking notes of everything that you're telling me or everything that you've thought of, so you have them collected when you get there, you know what you want to do, right?
I know, it's up here.
I know, and sometimes that forgets.
Yeah.
I know I have some of my best thoughts late in the night, and I have a notepad by my bed. And
Me too.
I will write. Okay, so you do write them down.
I do.
Did you have any trouble marketing your book, or you have a traditional publisher?
It's actually by Hay House's self-publishing, Balboa Press.
Okay.
So I had to do all the marketing myself. They illustrated it, and then they published it, but I did all the marketing. And it was basically every time, because I'm a speaker, every time I go speak, I take books, people buy them. So it hasn't been that hard, but it would be nice to reach a bigger audience.
Right. And you said you were a speaker before you wrote a book?
I joined the National Speakers Association that same year. So it kind of happened at the same time.
Because I know that a lot of authors, people that write books, then they become speakers because of their book. And I wasn't sure how yours went.
Well,
you go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was that I joined the National Speakers Association in February. I got the idea for the book in March. So I was in the land of speaking, but I wasn't speaking yet. And so it does help to have book or books, because I've got another one, to Yes, for,
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a
yeah,
minute. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it kind of happened all the same year.
All at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, that's kind of exciting because I think that every author ought to have a platform to speak on, you know,
Me too.
and I was speaking long before actually I wrote a book. I've been in front of audiences. So mine came for, you know, my speaking came before, you know, before my books come.
Yeah.
And mine are a little more diverse than yours. You know, mine go from gardening to parenting your parents. And now, okay, let's talk a little bit about your other book. It's called Whispering of Change.
Whispers of Change,
Whispers of Change.
transforming into the real you.
Mm-hmm.
How that book came about, the next year in 2017, I was going to one of the National Speakers Association North Texas workshops, we call them labs, where Betsy encouraged us and talked to us about writing a book in 90 days for under $500. And so the room was packed with speakers.
Wow.
Oh, how do you do this? And so after it was over, about 3 weeks later, Sherry Fisher posted on her Facebook page, all of you that were at that lab, let's do this in 90 days, write a book. And I said, okay, I'm in. And that's how the second one came about. I had already started writing down notes and things I thought I might want to say, but it wasn't until I came up with the word transform. I used an acronym, so the T stands for transforming into whispers, but the R, the A is whispers of appreciation. So everything is about the whispers, and it's really about the whispers you hear, not the ones from your ego, but the ones that give you guidance.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wrote, yeah.
I was just going to ask you, so is it a spiritual, has a spiritual undertone or?
It is. It has a spiritual undertone because it's my story, some of my stories. What I did was on the left-hand side of the page, I would write whatever my topic was, and then I have a question, and then I have an action. And then on the right side, I wrote one of my life experiences about that particular subject. So that's the way every page is. It has the same format. So it's kind of a workbook in one way, but in another way, it is asking you questions about your life and where you want to go and how you want to get there. And then I give my story.
Have you turned that into a workshop since you said it was like a workbook?
Not, actually not yet, but it's in the workings. Do that. Yes. I have a workshop I'm working on later in the year, and I'll be taking things from it because it kind of already is in that format.
And would you say that your life experiences is, what directed you to that book?
Yes, absolutely. I've been in self-development for a very long time. And so it's also about self-development. It's about letting go of beliefs that no longer serve us and listening to that guidance that comes through. And that's how both these books were written, was just following that guidance and what it was telling me that I felt and how I came about to get to where I am today. So it's been a journey, and sometimes it's a scary one too.
Right. Well, this is Charlotte Canion, and we're going to take a short break right now, and we'll be back. Stay tuned, and we'll be speaking with Dawnie Dahir.
Hi, Brakefield and Berkey here, award-winning authors for the Techno Thrillers books, the Enigma book series. Technology, today's weapon of choice, the cyber good guys versus the cyber bad guys.
We invite you to join our website, theenigmaseries.com, where you will get sample chapters, sample audibles, book trailers, and you can sign up for our mailing list. The books are available in ebook, paperback, and Audible. Thank you.
Tom Gromes, father of market intelligence, writing business books that are a game changer. International author of nonfiction, has written the first and only books on the collapse of Russia and the first and only book on market intelligence. Check them out at mkintel.org. That's mkintel.org, mkintel.org. Hi, this is Alan at Ask Alan Anything, a podcast designed to help you learn about publishing and marketing your books. So join us live on Facebook at 8 p.m. Central Daylight Time. The page is Indie Beacon Radio. Ask any questions about publishing and marketing your book. We're here to help you, and we've been doing it for a long time. So I hope to see you then. Thanks.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
This is Charlotte Canion, and welcome back. We're speaking with Dawnie Dahir, and she's our whisper expert. Dawnie, you want to expound a little more on the whispers of change, or tell us a little bit about your life experience that, caused you to write this book?
Well, one of the things in there is about forgiveness. And I write a story that's true, but I had to change the names. And it was someone real close to me who one day called me and said, "You're no longer welcome." And that was such a hardship, I was just shocked. I couldn't even talk. I didn't know where it came from, but I knew that if I was going to move forward, I had to do the forgiving. And so after I stewed about it for several months, then I started just a little bit of a time, just forgiving, a memory that I remembered, forgiving about this, and it gradually grew until I could completely forgive this person. And of course, along the way, I was forgiving myself for things I've said and done to this person that were not very kind. But in the big picture, it was such a blessing to know I could go through something like that and come out better for it. So that's one of my stories in there. It's about forgiveness.
One of the lessons, life lessons, I guess you could call
life. Yes, huge life lesson.
Huge life lesson.
Yes.
So your book is actually probably teaching people to be better than what they are.
That was my goal, is that if I could relay what I went through to other people, then maybe it would help them know that they aren't alone. Because so many times when something happens, you feel like you're the only person it happens to, and you don't know where to turn, and you don't know who to talk to who's been through that experience. So
right.
that was part of it.
I can totally relate to that, because my book is You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, How to Parent Your Parents.
Yeah.
And I had a father-in-law with dementia, a mother with Alzheimer's, and a dad with Parkinson, all at the same time. So I wrote my book to help other caregivers, or other, I call them senior children, but other adult children, to handle their parents with the love and respect and patience and forgiveness. So you and I kind of are on the same track You know, we
Yeah.
want to help people not fall in those pitfalls, fall into those holes, those self-pity, or, you know, learn how to be the best they can be and help the person they're helping be the best they can be, or whoever is around them. Because if you
Right.
become better yourself, you know that affects,
Yes.
yeah. So I'm going to have to read your book, Whispers of Change. Now, we'll have to trade books or something.
Let's do it.
Well, we want to sell our books for sure.
Yes.
And speaking of that, do you have any other books in the horizon? Are you going to make a sequel to? I know you're going to make the children's book a sequel. Are you going to do a sequel to your Whispers of Change?
Not so far. I do have something else going that I think will be an online class. I'm working on something. My friend Pat Alva Craker and I are co-hosts of something called the Divine Mastermind Group. And we meet twice a month on Zoom, so you can where. And it's really about raising your vibration, your energy, becoming that person that you're meant to be here for. You know, we all come with a lesson, many lessons, but we all come with a purpose. And it's learning to know what that purpose is and move towards that purpose, no matter what other people say or what other people do. Because as you know, there's a lot of people out there that they're so racked with fear, and I've been there. I've been that person that you can't seem to move forward. And so I know I have a lot of knowledge about being stuck and what it feels like and what it looks like and what it can do to you. But breaking out of that is scary. You do things you never dreamed you would do, and yet it's so rewarding and so wonderful all at the same time.
Okay, now how long has Whispers of Change been out?
It's been out since 2017.
Okay, what is the response you're getting? I mean, what are some of the response you're getting from people that go through the process of reading your book and applying the principles that you've put in it?
Well, the one that comes to mind is my friend Jerry. Now, I didn't know her before, but I did a workshop in January or February, and she came to it, bought my book, and then since then has told me, she said, I went through, I answered the questions, I did what you said on the action. She said, it was really life-changing. It was really something that helped me in my path. So that's my goal, is to help other people in their path. And that to me was worth all the writing and the editing and everything I did to get it published, to know that it's out there helping people.
That it is helping people.
Yes.
And where do you have your book, or do you sell it yourself, or do you have it in any stores?
Well, they're both on Amazon. The children's book, Let Me Give You a Whisper, is on Barnes and Noble's online, and then on my website, of course.
Yeah. If you had advice to give to someone that wanted to start writing a book, what advice would you give? What advice would you give them?
I would say just get started. Just start writing. This is how I started both my books. I didn't have a big game plan. I just started writing what I knew, what I was passionate about, and what I thought could help people. That's how I started. And so I think that just start it. Like, I journal every day. And that helps tremendously, to journal, to get your thoughts on paper, because it does come to writing a book. it's easier because once you've been journaling a long time, then it's easier to put your thoughts into words that make sense.
Definitely. Well, hold on to that thought because we're going to take a short break and we'll be back with Dawnie Dahir. This is Charlotte.
National Authors Day is November 2nd, 2019. This annual event is getting a fresh look with a parade that starts at the Texas State Capitol and works its way south down Congress Avenue. Join us as we celebrate the joy of being a published author and the joy of reading. For more information about the parade, merchandise, and other events related to this event, please visit our website at authors.dearindy.org.
What would you do if you found out everyone on the town council were thieves and murderers? That's what happened in Bandera, Texas in 1873. John Cruder was the marshal, yet he needed to operate outside the law in order to balance the scales of justice. He is the Midnight Marauder. You can find his books on Amazon.com and TopWesterns.com in paperback, digital, and audio. I'm Roy Clinton, and I hope you'll read The Midnight Marauder.
Thank you for watching or listening to this show. Indie Lector is proud to sponsor this programming. As a thank you for listening or watching, we would like to give you a 10% coupon code that you can use on our bookstore at indielector.store. Use coupon code VIDEO19. Again, that's indielector.store, coupon code VIDEO19 for a 10% discount on any purchase. Thank you.
Welcome back to Indie Beacon Radio. Don't forget to like us, follow us, or subscribe to one of our many channels. Now, here is your host for today's show.
This is Charlotte Canion, and we've had the pleasure of speaking with Dawnie Dahir today. Dawnie, I've got a question for you.
Okay.
You wouldn't be doing this, and you wouldn't be on the radio with us today if you didn't have an idea of being successful. What does success look like to you?
I can give you my biggest goal.
Okay.
Now, I believe I'm already successful. So, because I think success comes in those little steps that you take. And when you look back to where you were 10 years ago to where I am now, that for me is successful. But my biggest goal is to be a best-selling international author and speaker. That is what I'm headed towards, and that's what's in my dreams and in my mind.
Do you have anything else you're going to do towards that? Anything big that you think you can do?
Yes, speak on bigger stages. I just feel it. I know it's coming. It may not be right here in front of me, but that's okay because I know it's a step-by-step process, and that's where I'm headed. And the thing is that if I never got there, I would still be happy because I'm happy with my life. I'm happy where I am. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I'm happy with my family and my friends. So, you know, they say shoot for the moon, you might hit the stars. That's it.
Right. Right. And success, definitely, like you say, it's each step of the way is success. But like you mentioned, you've got to crawl before you can walk, and you've got to walk before you can run.
Yes.
And, you know, I've learned that in mine, and I'm like you. I feel successful now, but I know that, you know, there's a lot more to come and a lot more that God wants me to do.
Yes.
Yeah. And I have a new book coming out in the fall, and it's called The Guilt Syndrome, Caring for the Caregiver. And that's going to be tremendous because everyone is waiting for me to get it out there. And I'm privileged enough to have a doctor that's writing it with me. So that, you know, makes it astounding. So, I think the more books we have in our hands and the more I think there's more people reading. I realize that the new generation, you know, kind of has gotten away from it for a while, but I do see more and more people today. I have to tell you, funny, I was speaking today, and it was one of those times when the right people showed up.
Yeah.
I sold more books today to the per capita of people. I mean, everyone bought more than one book because they had a friend they wanted to give it to. And it's those things. It was very rewarding. And one of the things I look forward to is those hugs. And like you say, it's like your friend, you know, enjoying going through your book. It's rewarding to help people. And
It is rewarding.
yeah, and I really appreciate it. Well, is there any last message you would like to give our audience?
You know what? If there's people on here that are hesitating, moving forward, call me, email me. I'd be happy to talk with you because I know how hard it is to take those steps and to move the direction that you want to go. But it's scary, and I know that, and I've been through it. I also know that the more you do it, the better you feel about yourself. It's just so rewarding.
And the easier it gets, right?
The easier it gets in some areas.
If you want them to email you, do you want to give them your email address?
It's my name, Dawnie Dahir, DAWNIE DAHIR @gmail.com.
That's easy enough. That's easy enough. And this is Charlotte Canion, and we appreciate you joining us today. We've had a pleasure of talking to Dawnie Dahir. So whisper to your friends.
Thank you for listening to Indie Beacon Radio, where creative souls can find help in marketing their creations. To learn more about Indie Beacon services, to be a guest on the show, or to advertise on our show, please visit our website at indiebeacon.com.